a fun release.
Mhm.
It's something I enjoy. It happens really quickly, so I can usually create things like when if you remember, you called me. I was out on a bike ride, and so I hung up. I actually wrote the song in my head and came back, and it came out kind of what I was thinking. So.
Hey there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and joining me today is a return rock star, and I mean that in the most literal sense of the word. He not only is the CEO at Promo Pulse, but he also is the creator of that brand new intro song that you just heard. So Jason Nokes, thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Kirby, thanks for having me again. I appreciate it. It's good to see you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I kind of want to talk about it. I want to talk about the new song. You are the creator of that song. And you've also created the theme for the Promo Upfront podcast. So for those who haven't listened to that podcast, it's an amazing song as well. So where do you find the time to do that sort of thing outside of running Promo Pulse, of course, an industry company? Where do you find the time? And I guess why? Why do you do that sort of thing?
Well, I always have a song. I'm a lifelong musician, and so I've always have a song project or two or three going through my head at all times. And so it's something. It's a fun release.
Mhm.
It's something I enjoy. It happens really quickly, so I can usually create things like when if you remember, you called me. I was out on a bike ride, and so I hung up. I actually wrote the song in my head and came back, and it came out kind of what I was thinking. So, the biggest I was crossing my fingers, like I hope that Kirby likes it. So anyway, but no, it's fun. But I've been doing it a long time. I have probably over 20 releases out on Spotify, and so I create music, and it's something that comes natural.
Yeah, it comes natural, and like you said, it's kind of a release, right? Like I find that any kind of outside hobby, outside of entrepreneurship, sometimes is a really healthy thing,
Yes,
because we can get
yes.
caught up in the business side of it, and that can be all encompassing. So I think that's super interesting. Well, thank you. I think it's really really
Yeah,
cool.
you're welcome. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. So speaking of Promo Pulse, you and I talked about this before you did it, but you did a really crazy special on your email service, which is called AMP. So what was the genesis of doing that whole special, and how did it turn out?
Well, it turned out great. So, spoiler alert. The biggest thing I wanted to try, we've had AMP has been out for over a year now, and I will often get distributors asking about AMP and how it works and this and that, and then I don't hear from them, and so it's
Right.
like. So the promotion was really geared towards trying to remove any barriers of no credit card required sign up,
Yeah.
free onboarding, which we actually did anyway, but I don't
Right.
know if people knew that. And so it was basically just a way to remove all the potential bottlenecks, uh, see if people sign up, which they did, and then once we get them set up, try to find out what finally got them to push the button and sign up for it. So it was great, and as you know, it was kind of somewhat modeled after that book that we both read, $100 Million Offers by what's his name?
Alex Hermosi. Yeah.
Hermosi, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, so I got a lot from that book,
Yeah. So
and I
did
know
I.
you have as well. So that's kind of why I did it.
You mean
Yeah.
this
Oh,
book?
there you go. Look, it's like you're in the middle of it too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, that's a great book. It's got a lot of very practical and tactical tips that I put to work. And so, but no, it was just a way to stir up interest, and it really worked. Yeah, we had lots of people sign up. It was amazing, actually.
Yeah, and what's interesting, I think, is getting it's essentially like an enhanced free trials, what you get people to
Yeah.
do, and then once they get to using the services and see the value, I think there's a ton of value in doing that. So I think that's really interesting, Jason. So this is again, and Jason and I are friends, so some of these I know a lot about some of these background because we have conversations offline. But I thought this would be a fun conversation. So you've been taking part in this incubator investment group. You can kind of explain it better than I can. But can you talk about how that came to be and what has been the impact to your overall business?
Yeah. It's technically an accelerator fund, and
Okay.
so it's called Tiny Seed. And it's been wonderful. So we got accepted in April of this year, 2022.
Hmm.
It was actually my third time that I had applied
Oh, okay.
for Tiny Seed. So I was rejected and rejected, and then finally was accepted. So that was good. But it's been a real eye opener, to be honest. And so the fund itself is centered around SaaS companies like mine, software as a service companies, all B2B. And so it's designed. It's so you when you're accepted, not only do you get funding, which has been amazing, but
Mhm.
you also get all this mentorship. And so not only from the founders of the fund, but then there's also mentors that you've heard of, like Jason Fried and Rand
Mhm.
Fishkin, and all these different people that you can reach out to. And then, really, the biggest thing, and it's kind of a surprise, and they said it's the biggest thing, but till you actually experience, you don't
Mhm.
realize it's the biggest thing. But from your cohort, they break you down into smaller groups, mastermind groups, and so these mastermind groups meet every other week, and that has been wonderful. You get to know these other founders, you get to help them. Sometimes you're high and they're low, and vice versa. And it's a
Yeah.
support group. And so the whole thing's just been amazing, and just how to better run my company and understand the numbers, and realize there's so many things that I realized that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been great.
Well, and I got to think it's energizing too, because I think that one
Oh
of the
yeah,
things about entrepreneurship is sometimes it's a lonely game. And so the idea of just being able to connect with other people who are going through even similar struggles has
right.
to be, it seems like it is when I talk to you.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It is can be very lonely. Like I
Yeah.
said, it is literally a roller coaster every day. So you can be real high and real low, and it just goes up and down and up and down. So
That's cool. All
yeah.
right, final question for you. So as as this drops, it'll be the beginning of 2023. What lessons did you learn in 2022 to help you in business?
Yes. Well, there's one in particular that's
Okay.
very ironic, because it's the thing that I preach with AMP is be consistent with your marketing
Yeah.
over and over and over. And so I did pretty well in 2022, but there was a period of time that I was focused on something else and didn't really hit the AMP promotion all the time.
Hmm.
And so, and yeah, I could tell, and that was another, I guess, probably reason we did the promotion, because signups kind of dipped a little bit. So
Right.
that was one big one ironic thing. So I won't let that happen again.
Yeah.
And then the other, probably just from the Accelerator Fund, I just there was realized how many things I just were not, I won't say broken, but not optimized, I guess would be the
Mhm.
best way, from our messaging to and our marketing and our website and my sales process, and just everything got reevaluated. And so hopefully in 2023, when everything will be much better. But as you know, you fix one thing and you realize the other thing's not right. And so
Yeah.
there's always a learning process, or a bottleneck, or whatever. Things start going smooth, and that exposes something else. And so
Yeah.
it just never ends. And so, if we speak again for 2024, it'll be interesting to see
See where you're
where
at.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. One of the things I talk to people about, Jason, is I think that when people view other successful people, they think, well, they have no problems. I've got all these problems. They've got no problems. And the reality is they've got bigger problems. They've got, essentially success just gives you permission to tackle bigger and hopefully more interesting problems. That's the job of an entrepreneur, right? And
Right.
so I think that I think if we talk in 2024, you'll be talking about new problems that you're solving. It'd be
Oh,
my
I'm sure.
guess.
Yes, I hope.
Well, dude, thank you so much for taking the time. And again, thanks for the song. This is super
Yes.
fun. I like to, spice it up every now and again. And you certainly have helped with that. So thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you like it, Kirby.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, you bet. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.